You are now watching 1111, the Jesus Miracles, now a channel of divine power, healing, and heavenly breakthroughs. Subscribe and stay blessed. Beloved, if you're hearing this message right now, then pause for a moment and listen with more than your ears. Listen with your spirit. Listen with that part of you that has been restless. That part of you that has been sensing that something is wrong, that something is shifting, that something hidden is about to come into the light. This is not just another emotional message. This is not just another dramatic phrase passing through your screen. This is a wake-up call. This is a spiritual interruption. This is heaven reaching toward a heart that has been distracted, tired, wounded, and, if we are honest, sometimes resistant. The message is serious. You keep ignoring him. You keep ignoring the warnings. You keep ignoring the nudges. You keep ignoring the discomfort in your spirit. You keep ignoring what God has been trying to show you. But now, what this person just confessed is about to expose what God has been trying to protect you from all along. So let me ask you right now, how many times has your spirit felt uneasy, but you talked yourself out of it? How many times did you sense something was off, but you chose comfort over discernment? There are moments when God speaks softly, and then there are moments when he allows the truth to become impossible to ignore. Sometimes he whispers through conviction. Sometimes he warns through repeated signs. Sometimes he speaks through delay, through discomfort, through the feeling that something no longer fits even if it once did. But many people keep pushing past those holy warnings because they want what they want more than they want the truth. They keep asking God for clarity, while ignoring the clarity he already gave. They keep praying for confirmation, while dismissing the red flags that have appeared again and again. They keep hoping the situation will change, even though deep inside, they already know what heaven has been saying. And when that happens, God in his mercy will sometimes allow a confession, an exposure, or a sudden revelation to break through the wall of denial. Tell me honestly, has God been trying to get your attention through things you did not want to accept? Have you been calling it confusion when it was really conviction? When this message says, you keep ignoring him, it is not meant to shame you. It is meant to awaken you. God does not correct because he hates. He corrects because he loves. He does not warn you because he wants to scare you. He warns you because he sees what you do not yet see. He knows what is happening behind the scenes. He knows the motives of people. He knows the conversations that happen when you are not in the room. He knows the intentions hidden behind flattering words. He knows where danger is forming while you are still trying to make peace with appearances. And because he is merciful, he sends warning before collapse. He sends conviction before damage. He sends truth before destruction. But if you keep ignoring him, eventually the truth will come in a louder form. So ask yourself, has God been patient with you in an area where you've been stubborn? Has he been trying to pull you away from something that your emotions keep trying to hold on to? Now let us speak about the phrase, what this person just confessed. That is where the atmosphere of this message changes. Because a confession means what was hidden is no longer content to stay hidden. A confession means the mask is slipping. A confession means that truth is breaking through silence. A confession means God is no longer allowing deception to remain covered. And for many listening, this is not only about another person admitting something. It is about God exposing what your discernment has been trying to tell you for a long time. Maybe someone has confessed envy. Maybe someone has confessed manipulation. Maybe someone has confessed feelings they kept hidden. Maybe someone has confessed betrayal, gossip, dishonesty, secret motives, or double-minded behavior. Whatever the case, the deeper meaning is this. Heaven is tired of you living in confusion when truth is available. Why would God allow hidden things to be exposed now? Could it be because your next season is too important to be built on lies? Could it be because what is coming for you cannot be trusted into a life surrounded by deception? Sometimes the hardest truth to accept is not that someone lied to you. Sometimes the hardest truth is that God warned you before they ever confessed it. You sensed it. You noticed patterns. You heard things in their tone that your mind tried to excuse. You felt a heaviness after certain conversations. You noticed inconsistency. You noticed that what they said publicly did not match what they did privately. But because you wanted peace, because you wanted a relationship, because you wanted the dream, because you wanted the story to end differently, you silenced what the Spirit was highlighting. And this is where many people get trapped. They do not fall because God was silent. They fall because they kept ignoring what God was saying. So let me ask you something very deep. What truth have you already been shown that you keep trying not to believe? What warning has visited your faith language? Represents spiritual battle, protection, courage, and divine defense. So when this message comes in the tone of Michael saying you keep ignoring him, it carries the urgency of heaven fighting for someone who does not realize how much they are being protected. You may think the warning is harsh, but it is actually mercy. You may think the exposure is painful, but it is actually rescue. You may think the confession is breaking your heart, but in reality, it may be breaking an illusion that would have damaged you far more if it had remained intact. Sometimes the greatest protection does not look like blessing at first. Sometimes it looks like the truth ruining your fantasy before your fantasy ruins your future. Have you considered that what feels like heartbreak may actually be divine intervention? Have you considered that God may be removing confusion so you can walk in peace? What this person confessed may not only reveal who they are, it may reveal where you are spiritually. It may show whether you have been led by peace or by pressure. It may show whether you have been walking in discernment or in denial. It may uncover whether you've been craving signs while ignoring wisdom. Because many people want God to speak through dramatic miracles, but they ignore him when he speaks through inner caution, repeated uneasiness, and the fruit of a person's behavior. God is not only found in spectacular moments. He is found in patterns. He is found in holy discomfort. He is found in the things that do not sit right in your spirit, no matter how much you try to force them. So now that something has been confessed, what will you do with the truth? Will you finally listen, or will you keep excusing what God is exposing? For some people listening, this confession is about relationships. There are people who smile in front of you and compete with you in secret. There are people who say they support you, but feel threatened by your growth. There are people who claim they love you, but only love the version of you they can control. There are people who want access to your life without honoring the God who lives in you. And the reason God exposes these things is not to make you bitter, but to make you free. He does not show you hidden motives so you can become obsessed with people. He shows you so you can stop giving sacred space to what is not safe. Tell me honestly, have you been over-explaining loyalty to people who keep proving they are not trustworthy? Have you been trying to save connections that God has been trying to clarify? For others, this confession may not be romantic or relational alone. It may involve work, family, ministry, friendship, or a circle you thought was safe. It may involve someone admitting what they said behind your back. It may involve hidden resentment finally surfacing. It may involve a person revealing that they never intended to help you the way they claimed they would. It may involve truth coming out in a way you did not expect. But hear this carefully. When God allows a hidden to be revealed, it is never random. Exposure is often a form of divine housekeeping. God clears what contaminates. He uncovers what corrupts. He reveals what has been feeding off your peace. He does this not because he wants your life in chaos, but because your next season requires clean ground. So why do we keep mourning exposure as if it were only loss? What if exposure is one of the greatest acts of mercy God can send? There's another side to this message, and it is just as important. Sometimes a person who has just confessed is not the enemy in the usual sense. Sometimes they are the unexpected messenger of truth. Sometimes someone's confession reveals love they hid, regret they carried, guilt they can no longer suppress, or a truth God would not allow to stay buried. And even then, the question becomes, what is God saying through this moment? Not every confession is meant to restore connection. Some are meant to bring closure. Some are meant to free you from confusion. Some are meant to confirm what you already sensed. Some are meant to show you how much God protected you from making decisions in darkness. So, if a truth came out today, would you know how to handle it? Would you respond from wounded emotion or from spiritual maturity? Beloved, one of the deepest meanings in this message is this. God is not asking you to be obsessed with who confessed what. He is asking you to finally stop ignoring him. That is the center of it all. Because even if people lie, God tells truth. Even if people hide motives, God reveals them. Even if people delay honesty, God is never delayed in seeing everything clearly. The issue is not whether God knows. The issue is whether you will listen. And many people miss divine protection because they are more committed to their attachment than to God's instruction. They say they want God's will, but only if it does not cost them a relationship, a dream, a habit, or a version of life they have already imagined. Yet God sees what you cannot carry safely into your future. He knows what must be uncovered before you can move forward cleanly. So what are you more loyal to right now? Some of you have been praying God's truth or your preferred while entertaining what keeps stealing it. Some have been asking God for clarity while returning again and again to the very source of confusion. Some have been asking God to bless what he has been repeatedly warning about. And because God is loving, he sometimes lets the truth come out in undeniable form. That is what confession does. It removes your excuse. It removes your illusion. It removes the comfortable story you were telling yourself. Suddenly what was hidden is spoken. Suddenly what was denied is admitted. Suddenly what was vague becomes plain. And now you must choose whether you will honor the truth or continue building your life against it. So hear this question deeply. When God answers your prayer with a truth you did not want, do you still call an answer? The painful thing about truth is that it often arrives after you have invested emotion, time, hope, and prayer into something. That is why exposure can feel like grief. You are not only grieving what happened, you are grieving what you hoped it was. You are grieving the version of the story you wanted to be real. You are grieving your own effort, your own loyalty, your own expectation. And God understands that pain. He is not cold toward it. He is near to it. But do not let grief make you return to blindness. Do not let sorrow make you negotiate with what heaven has already uncovered. If the confession came, let it teach you. If the truth surfaced, let it free you. If the mask slipped, let it stay off. Why keep stitching together what God has torn open for your healing? Maybe what this person confessed is also revealing something about your own heart. Maybe it is showing you where you have ignored your worth. Maybe it is showing you how easily you accepted half-truths because you were afraid of losing people. Maybe it is showing you that you have tolerated what does not honor your peace. Maybe it is showing you that your compassion has sometimes become permission for chaos. Maybe it is showing you that your need for closure made you stay longer than wisdom would have allowed. These realizations are not meant to condemn you. They are meant to mature you. Growth often begins where excuses end. So let me ask, have you been using love as a reason to ignore wisdom? Have you been confusing patience with permission? Have you been calling something loyalty that is actually fear of letting go? There's also warfare in this message. Whenever God is about to free someone from deception, resistance rises. Emotions get louder. Fear starts arguing. Nostalgia starts rewriting history. The enemy starts whispering that you are overreacting, being too spiritual, or making too much of what was revealed. Why? Because darkness thrives in confusion. It wants you to minimize what God exposed. It wants you to doubt what was made clear. It wants you to return to emotional fog after truth has already visited you. But this is the moment to stand firm. Do not call yourself dramatic for noticing what God showed you. Do not call yourself unloving for setting boundaries around your peace. Do not call yourself foolish for finally believing the truth. If anything, wisdom begins the moment you stop arguing with what God made plain. And maybe, just maybe, this confession is not only about someone else. Maybe God is also inviting you to confess. To confess that you have been ignoring him. To confess that you kept choosing your feelings over his voice. To confess that you stayed where he warned you not to stay. To confess that you knew something was wrong, but hoped silence would somehow make it right. To confess that you wanted confirmation, while already carrying conviction. This kind of confession is holy, because it opens the door to healing. God does not expose you to humiliate you. He invites confession to restore you. So what if the real breakthrough begins when you stop saying, I didn't know, and start saying, Lord, you were showing me and I did not listen? What if your freedom begins with honesty? Beloved, God is not only trying to reveal people to you, he is trying to reveal himself to you as protector, guide, defender, and truth teller. He is showing you that he's been watching over your life more closely than you realized. He is showing you that even in your ignoring, he kept warning. Even in your resistance, he kept covering. Even in your confusion, he kept sending signs. That is mercy. That is love. That is a father who does not abandon his children even when they are slow to listen. And if it protected you this far, why would you doubt him now when the truth may shake you? But it does not have to destroy you. It may hurt, but it can also heal. It may end one illusion, but it can begin a deeper level of discernment. It may close one chapter, but it can protect the rest of your story. And if you receive this moment correctly, it can become a turning point in your life. A moment where you stop begging God for signs while ignoring his voice. A moment where you stop overriding your discernment to maintain false peace. A moment where you finally honor what God has been saying beneath the noise of your emotions. So what kind of person do you want to become after this truth? Someone harder, colder, and more guarded? Or someone wiser, cleaner in spirit, stronger in discernment, and closer to God? As this message comes to its close, hear this with all seriousness and all hope. If Archangel Michael is saying you keep ignoring him, then the mercy of God is still active around you. Because warning means heaven has not given up on you. And if what this person confessed is now coming to light, then perhaps God is ending your season of confusion. Perhaps he is removing the fog. Perhaps he is answering prayers you thought were still unanswered. Perhaps he is showing you that truth, even painful truth, is better than comfortable deception. Perhaps he is rescuing you from a future built on false foundations. And perhaps this very moment is your invitation to stop ignoring what your spirit has known all along. So now ask yourself, and ask with honesty, what has God been trying to tell me that I keep refusing to face? What truth has been knocking on my spirit? What warning have I been calling anxiety when it was really discernment? What relationship? What pattern? What attachment? What emotional dependence? What hidden compromise has God been shining light on? And now that the confession has come, will I finally listen? Because the truth is, beloved, God does not reveal in order to ruin you. He reveals in order to redeem your path. He exposes in order to protect your purpose. He uncovers in order to restore your sight. And if you listen now, really listen, this confession will not be the end of you. It will be the beginning of your freedom.